Welcome to another episode of our real estate podcast, Hustle and Motivate with Cyrus and Dani.
Brought to you exclusively by the Pacific West Association of Realtors. How has your week been going?
My week has been great since last week. Okay. So after we left here, last week, I got a phone call from one of my listings for someone that wanted to go see it. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get anyone else to show it. So I went and I called the guy, talked to the guy, drove over there and to Fullerton. And I went to show the property, and the guy walked in the property. He's like, yeah, this isn't going to work for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was kind of bummed. And then he goes, but I have 2 properties I need to sell.
Oh, okay. I know someone who can help you with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Literally. And then he's like, these are the addresses, so on and so forth. He's like, can you meet me tomorrow? And I was like, yeah.
That's so awesome when it works out like that and things. It's so hard to think oh, that just fell into my lap. But really, so yes, it did in a sense, but at the same time, you've been busting your butt and working so hard in order. If you didn't have that listing, you wouldn't have had this opportunity anyways.
Exactly. And so, and then it's just about answering the phone, right? Answering the phone, being there to service the client, so on and so forth. Like I said, I made time in the middle of the day because I knew no one else could do it. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to let this person go.
Yeah. And
I ended up showing up. And he the next day I showed up at 11 a.m. and I got 2 listings.
One of your fancy suits.
It was definitely in one of my fancy suits, and pulled up to the house. He's got 2 tennis courts on it, and so I'm sitting there, and I did the numbers, and so I took.
What kind of house was he looking at in Fullerton?
A little duplex.
Yeah, so you did not expect to walk up to this kind of house with the 2 tennis courts and all of that.
No clue. Did not expect that whatsoever. So it was that property, and then another property that he owned right down the street. That one was $3 million, and then the one down the street was $550,000.
That's so insane.
And then I had been working with another client that was in LA, trying to work with her to get her to list her property and whatnot for the past maybe 3 months. And then she called me. She goes, "Hey, send me over the contract." So within 2 hours, I had $7.3 million in listings.
That's insane. Is that the biggest day that you've had in real estate since you started?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That was insane. I was just what?
Yeah. I know, it's crazy how it works out like that. But like I said, it's so hard. This didn't all just happen just because, the stars aligned. You've been working really, really hard, and then everything, I feel like you hit a point in your business where everything just starts happening. And that's such a nice feeling. I feel like I'm kind of going through that right now where, I've definitely had some ups and downs since I started. I've had my license for 4 years now. And so sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's tough. But right now I feel like I'm still out there and still hustling and working for those referrals and working, for my clients the hardest that I possibly can. But everything is starting to get a little bit easier now. And people are, more people are reaching out to me rather than me feeling like I have to reach out to everybody. And so I think that at some point you're going to have a turning point in your business and everything starts falling into place. And that's a really, really good feeling. But you have to work for it. You have to get there.
Well, yeah, it's I always talk about it you have to build the snowball to throw it down the mountain to build an avalanche.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to do that. And that's where I think, I mean, for you, for me, and that's where my business has been more recently. It's just been kind of wow, this is really cool. It's happening how it's supposed to happen, and that's a fun feeling.
Well, that's because we started off our careers with the right mindset and with the right people guiding us along to end up where we are now.
Oh, 100%. And that brings us to, I think that brings up a good point in the fact that, what do you have to do to start off right?
Absolutely.
What are the, I guess, we get it all the time. People ask me, I'm sure they ask you, what do I do when I start in real estate, right?
Yeah. How do you become successful in this business? And I'm like, well, you got to have a lot of grit, a lot of resilience, and I can give you 5 or 10 tips to help make it a little bit easier.
Yeah. So first, let's break it down. First 30 days.
Okay.
First 30 days of you got your license, you hung it with your brokerage and you joined Pacific West Association Realtors.
That's
now
right.
what?
Well, I found my broker right away. I found her through my mother-in-law introduced me to her. And so I was able to connect with her pretty early on, which was really great because I feel like she instilled a lot of ideals in me from the very beginning about how I should run my business successfully with a relational mindset. So like we work entirely by referral. I don't do any crazy internet advertising or pay for anything on Zillow or pay for Yelp leads or anything like that. We work primarily only by referral. And so she set me up from the very beginning. And the first thing that she told me was to make a list of every single person that you know and let them know that you're in real estate.
Okay, before we skip over, I like that, but before we skip over that, what do you think, let's go back to, what do you think someone should look for in their first brokerage? That's a good one.
That's good. I definitely think you got to find someone who has the same kind of mindset as you, because there's a lot of different ways that you can run your real estate business. You can be more of a relational person and you want to work primarily by referrals. And then there are some people who want to have this crazy marketing mindset where they want to go out there and blast the public with, all of the amazing tools that they have at their disposal. And that's totally cool. Some people are super into door knocking. I think that you really need to find either a team or a mentor who is doing business the way that you want to do business as well, because not everyone is like me and not everyone is like you. So 100%. You got to find the kind of people that you connect with, because otherwise things could really fall apart very easily.
Yeah, for so many reasons, right? Because you have to find the people that you connect with. For the first reason is because that's going to help your business be successful. But the second reason that's going to help your business be successful because you're having a good time doing it.
Yes, absolutely.
And
I say absolutely a lot on here. Whatever.
That's okay.
I'm a human.
So I think that when we connect with somebody that it's right, finding a mentor, right? Connecting with somebody that we trust, that we look up to, and that we want to be like. Mm-hmm. And then I think that's where for me, that's would be my advice, and it sounds like for you too, for a new agent trying to find the right brokerage is just find somebody that has a like mindset, right?
Yes, definitely, because when you start off in real estate and even years past, it is a grind. You are hustling every single day. You need to find someone who is going to help guide you along the path that you want to be on, because otherwise it's going to feel like work and you're not going to enjoy it at all. And so luckily for me, I actually love working, which is a good feeling because of where I'm at. If I was with someone who was doing business a way that I didn't particularly connect with, I would probably be miserable and I would have already quit.
100%. And also someone that's going to be able to guide you to do to follow that, because like there's so many different, I always call it like a shiny object syndrome in real estate.
Yeah,
there's
that.
always like oh my gosh, look at that new
tech.
thing. And
new
you're
app,
like,
new everything.
I should pay, $1,000 a year for this. And then you start, and people end up using all of their money trying to just go with the newest thing, when somebody can really guide you and teach you, hey, look, this is where you put your money, this is where you shouldn't put your money.
Yes,
so
start with the basics.
Yes.
And that's really, really important.
So first 30 days, you're in now, you found your brokerage, we're good, you were saying.
I made a list of everybody that I knew, and I let them know that I was in real estate.
Yes.
And then I'm really into, I started meeting with people for lunch and meeting with people for coffee and talking about real estate and letting them know that I'm in it. But I think one thing that I learned from the very beginning, that it's hard to sit in front of someone and feel really confident and say, I've been in real estate for 6 weeks. How do you build that trust and confidence in them and potentially being a client? So that's why it was really important that I had found my mentor from the get-go, because I was able to say, yes, I know that I'm new to the industry. However, I'm with a team and we have 31 years of experience total, so my clients are always going to be well taken care of.
100%.
And that was a good script, even though, it's not really a script, but it was something that I had stuck in my mind that I was able to share with people.
Yep.
That really helped gain their trust and earn those first clients.
It's like you have a crutch to lean on at that point when you feel like, and honestly, I think that it's a mental thing for us really as agents, right? It's not so much, because I think that when you get into the industry, I think we end up saying, oh, am I good enough to do this? Am I good enough to do that?
Well, you're handling a very expensive legal transaction. There's a lot of things that if you mess up, it is not going to go well. And so you have to have someone behind you. And with that kind of experience to guide you along, it's really important to find somewhere where you either have a mentor who's going to help you out or a very, very involved broker.
Yes. And then, so now we said reach out to everybody in your SOI, write down everybody. So are you calling those people? How are you reaching out to those people? Because this is an important thing for everybody to hear, I think.
I am very, very, very against cold calling.
Okay.
And even that means you. If you're not expecting a phone call from me, like in the middle of the random of the day, or random in the middle of the day, sorry, if I don't want to answer that phone call from a number that I don't know or from a friend that I'm like, why are they calling me right now? I kind of almost get like a little bit panicked, and that's the last thing that I want. So I heavily rely on text messaging, reaching out to people via Facebook Messenger, Instagram. I do all of that. And then obviously when you're having a conversation about negotiating then you pick up the phone, of course. But just reaching out to someone to say, hey, hi, how are you? I was in your neighborhood. How are you doing? That's different. And so I don't really like to pick up the phone that much unless the situation calls for it. So
I talk about this, and I was just talking to my team about this. It's the 5 love. You know what the 5 love languages are?
They are gift giving. I like that one.
Giving and receiving gifts, acts of service,
affirmations, right?
Words of affirmation, quality time, and physical touch. Well, there's the 5 love languages of communication in real estate, right? So you have sending emails, you have social DMs, you have
that's very true, because not all of my clients are on Facebook Messenger and Instagram Messenger, and it's finding out how your individual friend or client at that point communicates, and that is the best way to connect with them. You need to be very transparent and open when you realize how someone ticks and use that as your mechanism for communicating.
100%. And so that's where okay, so for instance, for me, when I first got in the industry, I realized a lot of my friends are on social media, right? So I reach out to social media, but then I have also a big sphere that they don't do social media. So I shot them a text or I called them. And so I think that for me, reaching out to your SOI is finding the way that they want to hear from you.
Yes.
Right?
That's really important. And also the way that you communicate with clients, because when you're out and you're showing properties, there's going to be, if you have 2 people there, there's going to be one person who is walking into a house and says, I feel this. I can have Thanksgiving dinner here. I can invite all my family. We'll wake up Christmas morning. And then you have the person that's like, what's the payment? What's the value? So you need to really hone in on how your people communicate, whether it just be reaching out or when you're actually showing properties or just in general, and use that to your benefit.
Yeah, exactly. So we've reached out to, we've wrote down our SOI, we've wrote down everybody that we know. Now we've reached out to them. We've set up a bunch of coffee appointments and dinners and lunches and all of that. I always joke about it. I'm like, people are like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, go and eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've gone and talked to all these people. Now what is the next step? I guess get organized, right?
Yeah.
Get your business cards, because you're going to want those when you sit down with somebody and show them what we do or what you do.
Business cards, open house signs. I would definitely come up with some sort of marketing plan.
Yes.
Like I had said, I don't spend a lot of money doing internet advertising, but that doesn't mean that I don't market myself and market my properties or anything like that.
Yeah, so sitting down, 100%, sitting down with somebody that knows marketing, that knows marketing in the industry.
Yeah.
In the industry. And then basically connecting with them. So that's really connecting with, I guess, your different vendors as well, right? So connecting with not just your marketing. Yes. You
got to have your title reps that are going to help you out. They're going to have your lenders that are going to help you out. Home warranty, NHD. There are a lot of, there are millions of realtors in the world, just like there's millions of lenders and millions of title representatives. You need to find the people that you connect with, that you know are going to help you service your clients as well.
And that it's important, again, going back to The same when you're looking for your brokerage, finding somebody that aligns with the same values that you have.
Definitely.
Right? Because I've done it where I've worked with a lender that we didn't align on certain things, and then it ends up not working out long term. So now when a client calls back from a past transaction, I have to explain that I work with XYZ lender instead of this lender now because of, whatever the reason is. So I think it's important to find the people that align with your values, because that's a long-term relationship that you're going to have.
So for a new agent, how do you recommend that they find their lender, their title representative, those people that they use? Or do you think that people should have a bunch of different ones and kind of sprinkle their business throughout? Or do you think that they should find a team that they use and recommend consistently?
I'm huge on relationship. So I'm going to ask the people around me who they use. That's how I really found my people, right? Is I was asking everybody, I was seeing who they used, why they used them, and then I sat down and had meetings with them. And then for me,
it's almost like an interview. You have to interview them. Yes,
because they are involved in the transaction. They are going to be working with your clients. So if they don't have the right, they don't speak in the way that you like to speak with your clients, or so on and so forth, you're going to have an issue in the transaction.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
really important to be surrounding yourself with people who you trust, who you know are going to go to bat for you, who when something crazy is happening on title, you know exactly who to call to get the right answers, because some people don't have those connections. So you need to make sure that you have people who know what they're doing and are rock stars.
100. Yes. Find your rock stars.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one. And then for me, I specifically I like to work with the people that I work with. So I've had these people.
I'm the same way. I find the people that, I've had amazing experiences with my clients. Obviously, you have to build up trust and relationships with people. But once I find my people, I find my people.
Yes.
And that also helps in instances when I need a favor, when something's going on and it's Friday night at 6:00 and something's happening. I can call my lender or I can call my title rep, and I know that they're going to pick up the phone and that they're going to help me because I consistently send them business.
Exactly. So now you've got your team, you've got your cards, you've written down all of your SOI and everything, your sphere of influence, right? And now the next step is, okay, what kind of agent do I want to be, right? Do I want to be an agent that's going to be working in mainly rentals? Do I want to specialize in investments? Do I want to do that, right? Because
I think that falls along.
Niche, right?
Yes, find your niche, and then I think that also happens a lot with when you find your mentor, like what kind of business that they're doing. So I think that you learn pretty early on, are you going to be residential? Are you going to do commercial? You're obviously not going to go hang out with your residential mentor if you want to. Maybe, but if you're starting off in the business, you're not going to think, I'm going to do commercial when the whole team that you're working with is doing residential.
Exactly. Okay.
I think you find that out pretty early.
Yeah, I agree with that. So then with that being said, are you door knocking? Do you door knock? Actually,
I do not. No.
Okay, I do. So I'm huge on prospecting. I'm huge on, I go out and get as much, business. And then I flip on this whole, I want to keep them for long term. So
sure. So everyone is different.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone is totally different. I look at and I think about spending an hour door knocking a neighborhood, and I'm like, what I would rather do is call my A+ client and say, hey, let's go get coffee, or stop by and do something. Everyone, and then I just ask her or him, hey, who do you know that I need to help? And that's something that I relate more to.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
And something I had heard this a long time ago. I don't know where I heard it, but I started telling my team to do it. Basically, when they're showing what it was they were showing properties. So when they show a property, to door knock the 5 houses on each side after you show the property.
I definitely see the benefit in something like that. I'm just not going to go out on a Tuesday afternoon and do it just to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone is going to be totally different, but I do see benefits in it sometimes.
Yeah. So there's so many different ways of lead generation, and I think that goes back to what I was saying about the shiny object syndrome, right? I think that you need to find 1, 2, or 3 ways tops.
3 buckets.
Exactly.
That are
of how you're going to generate your business all day long, and stick with those and focus. The biggest thing that
every day.
Exactly. And the biggest thing that I get with new agents is they're always everywhere. and there's no
do a little
focus.
bit of this, a little bit of that. You got to find what works for you, what you enjoy doing, because otherwise you're going to experience so much burnout.
Exactly.
And focus on that and do it consistently. Put it in your calendar. Make sure that you do that lead generation, however that it may be.
Exactly.
For like 2 hours a day minimum.
Exactly. And then from there, and then if you stay focused, that's going to build your business long term, right? And then so the next thing is pretty simple. It's practice.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, I don't like using the word scripts, but you got to find the ways to get your point across in a way that works for you.
So I'm like super against the memorization of scripts and then, repeating them ad verbatim. But I think that scripts are very helpful to learn. You use them as a roadmap, not as a script.
Totally.
Right. So a big thing like that I have all my agents do is like practice, like read objections, go online, go search. We give them a book of, a bunch of different objections, understand responses, but you're never going to actually end up sitting there and saying, hi, 123 Main, is this the owner of 123 Main Street? Okay. They say yes. I say this. It doesn't
work like that. So I think that as long as you have a general idea of what you want to say and how you're going to come up with certain responses, it will make it a lot easier when you're having conversations with people. Like I said before, when someone says, oh, well, you haven't been in the business for very long, I knew right away exactly what to say.
Exactly.
Well, I'm part of this team. We have 31 years of experience. And I mean, I'm that just ingrained in the back of my head.
Yep.
I think another thing that's really important when you first start in the business is to make relationships with other realtors.
Yes.
And I think that so many people gloss over that because in essence, all realtors are in competition with each other,
Yeah.
But you need to have those relationships with other realtors and I pride myself in always trying to be the type of realtor that I would want to work with because I've had to work with some real jerks.
You and I both.
I know that, kill them with kindness, but I'm still going to fight for my clients, of course, but be a nice human.
Just be a good person.
Which can be tough sometimes.
Yeah.
But a great way that you can do that is by getting involved in your local association. I, helped found YPN here at PWR, and then that's how we met so many people. So if you are looking for some sort of community, a great place to find it is to go to the YPN at your association. You're going to have a ton of young professionals with your similar mindset who are looking to grow and expand their businesses just as you are.
Well, exactly. And to be honest, the YPN in general has helped my business so much, not just on, the level of locally, but nationally because of the fact that when you connect with other realtors, one, you can get referrals from out of area realtors, right?
Definitely.
Two, when I submit an offer for a buyer, they know who I am and they know they want to work with me.
Yeah.
Because the reality is this industry is a very small industry. It seems like a big industry. It seems like there's a lot of agents, but the agents that are doing a lot of business are there in every single day. You're going to see them.
And I also think that just by showing that you're involved in your, in your local YPN, in your local association, that you care about real estate and you care about homeowners' rights as a whole rather than just trying to get a paycheck. And I think that people absolutely see that and appreciate that.
Well, it's just more ammunition, right? You're just stocking up more ammunition to be able to relate or get with another client as well, because there's some clients that could care less, but there's a lot of clients that see that and say, oh my gosh, wow,
they really
so
care about me and they really care about where this industry is going.
Exactly.
And,
that's the future of the industry. That's the coolest thing, honestly, the coolest thing about the getting involved with the association on the association level for me was the fact that I realized that real estate is more than just buying and selling houses.
Oh, it is so much more.
It was like insane. And the realization was amazing. And now I like have this absolute love for it, but it was like at first it was like, what do
cool,
you have
I got
to
a
do?
paycheck. Yeah. You don't realize. So I think that
So
when you're
much bigger.
newer, you need to make those relationships with other agents, because if you're going to go submit an offer on a listing and there's you're fighting against 20 others, if they know you, then you're going to be in a much better situation than a lot of other realtors.
Oh, way better situation.
Okay.
So I guess the recap it, we got to write down all your SOI.
Uh-huh.
You got to
find your mentor, find your team, the people that are going to work the same way that you want to work, and then ask them for referrals to their vendors and the people who they've had wonderful experiences with that you can tag on with.
Build your relationships, build that, and then get involved, do your lead generation, whatever that is, however that is. Mm-hmm. Figure it out, and then build a schedule and stick with it.
Stick with it.
Yeah, and then get involved with the association on some sort of level. Honestly, YPN's a great way to do it.
Yeah, we have our wake-ups every month.
Oh, yeah.
And you can go and network with other people and meet other agents, and it's awesome.
Yeah, so we'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions or want to hear any new content, then
please reach out, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you for tuning in for this week's episode. Make sure to give us a follow on Instagram at Cyrus Andre,
at Dani Femmel, and at PacWest Realtors.
Keep hustling
and stay motivated. We want to remind everyone that these opinions are our own and may not reflect those of the association.